Hi, I'm Michael Finch, president of the David Horowitz Freedom Center, and it is a great honor to be guesting for the erstwhile host, Jamie Glazov. It's been a while since I've hosted the show, and it's a real honor to be back. I have to just say one quick thing. Mel and Morgan, you're in the entertainment industry. You guys understand Sweeps Week. This is kind of the Sweeps Week time for the Glazov gang. We need to pump up the ratings, get some advertisers. We need as many viewers as possible. This is always that time of year, and for some strange reason, this is when Jamie is looking for guest host. So I'll let you draw your own conclusions to why that is, but this is an important time, and it's really an honor to be back. I do want to say, though, Jamie's made this very easy for me. I've got three incredible guests tonight, and I want to introduce each of them. Morgan Brittany, well-known actress, columnist, writer for WorldNet Daily. Morgan, you wrote a great column today, Who Will Lead America Back to Optimism? Fantastic.
Thank you.
I assume that's not Elizabeth Warren, but maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. And I want to also say, before I move on, Jamie wanted me to give a plug for his own book tonight, and I'm not going to do that, but I am going to give a plug for What Women Really Want. This is a fantastic read. It's Christmas time, holiday season. Please get this book for yourself, buy it for friends. It is a fantastic book. So I'm urging you all to read this, and Jamie, that is my only book plug for the evening.
Oh, you got him good.
Well, it's, I promised I'd say something.
You did.
So, Mell Flynn, well-known actress, also the president of the Hollywood Congress of Republicans. For those outside California watching this show, Hollywood and Republicans don't go together. It's an oxymoron, but there are a few brave souls. Both of you have been in Dante's Inferno and back again. Yes. So thank you for everything you do in Hollywood. And then Nonie Darwish, great friend of the Freedom Center and well-known author, public speaker. She wrote the bestseller, Now They Call Me Infidel, and her most recent book, The Devil We Don't Know. So Nonie, Morgan, and Mel, welcome to the Glazov gang.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
That's great. Thank you.
And
we've got a range of topics that I want to get into tonight. I'm going to start out, and I'm going to ask you all the same question because I've been listening, watching all the shows and reading. Nobody has an answer to this. What is Dianne Feinstein thinking by releasing this report right now? And there's a lot of theories. Maybe she's just wanting to do good. I don't know. But Morgan, I'm going to start with you. What do you think Dianne Feinstein's motivation is for because there's no question this is putting Americans and people around the world in danger. People are going to die because of this. So there better be a really good reason. And what is it?
Dianne Feinstein has been in political life way, way too long. She really has. I mean, I think it's time for her to go. Yeah. But this is absolutely a political move. We know that. Why now? Why at this time? I mean, it's ridiculous. Why would you do this? And then when you dig deep into how this report was done, they didn't even interview one CIA agent, and it was staffers on the Democrat side that wrote this report. So you've got to wonder, what are they thinking, and why would they do this and put Americans in danger? All I can say is, if Americans die or people die, it's on her head.
Well, Mel, let me ask you, if it's political, and there's no question it's political, this isn't for so America can be open and transparent. I don't believe in that. If it's political, Mel, who would benefit? If you believe it's political, or do you have your own explanation?
Yeah, of course it's political. And I just got to say, I don't know how they're going to live with themselves with the blood on her hands, and, that there's going to be, and the other people that go into agreement with this. It's a distraction. It's, trying to make the Republicans look bad, too, because they're kind of siding with the CIA and saying, these things maybe necessarily didn't happen. And it's just a way to make us look bad, And I really, it's really hard to figure this out because, like Morgan said, and other people, I've talked to people that are not political people, and they're like, why would somebody do this? Why would they put our American soldiers and people, overseas in danger like this? I'm not quite sure I have the answer. It's something political. They're trying to either, distract from what Obama's doing, or, like I said, just trying to make the, CIA look bad and them look good. Like, aren't they just the saviors and the good, folks around here?
That's what it's just like their own version of the Church Committee back in the 70s when they gutted the CIA, and really it took a long time for the CIA to come back. That's a possibility. Nonie, what about the danger for our agents and for Americans, and not just Americans, for our allies and friends around the world, because there will be reprisals for this.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of the Democrats think, oh, they're going to make the world respect us and love us because we are showing the world that we stand up for no torture, and they're going to love us more. But every time they want to prove to the world that we're good, they give a black eye to America just to prove that we're good. But the way the world perceives us is very different from the way the Democrats want to portray America. They are trying to appease the world by giving America a black eye, by humiliating America. And frankly, that is not the message that the Arab world, especially, and the Muslim world is getting. There's two ways of interpreting it, the Arabs, when they see America doing that. They either think we are really stupid, or for that, because here they are beheading us, beheading Americans. And we have, the Democrats in America have been hitting this topic like every year. It's been like 8 years now we're discussing that nonstop. I wish they would find a violation that's legitimate, just to make us look a little bit serious. The world looks at us like a paper tiger, and that we're not serious, and they're laughing at us.
Well, the world respects us so much more now than they did 6 years ago before Obamacare. There's no question. I mean, and the Muslim world loves the weak horse. So that the fact that we are once again showing our weakness, but go ahead.
You know what? Here's something that, I don't know whether you've thought about this at all, any of you, but why is it that this administration is tearing down the CIA, the FBI will be next, the police departments, the Secret Service? What is going on underlying this? What are they really after? Because nobody's really bringing this up, that they're trying to give every single one of these departments a black eye. True. Why are they doing this?
Well, I'll go to Mell. Barack Obama is the first president that hates America. He has a very different, he may like his own version of America, but the police, the military, the CIA, this is all part of this is the oppression, imperialist, and I think he wants to tear down America. And you start with the intelligence, with the military, with the police. You step. So I think that's his reason. One thing I wonder about, and Mel, I'd like to get your feeling about that is, and again, I go back to politically, Dianne Feinstein, she's doing this, I mean, maybe she looks good, I guess. Maybe she's thinking she'll look good. But is there any play for Hillary in this at all? Because I think there's so many of the Democrats are lining up. Leon Panetta writes a book. I think that was for Hillary. A lot of the stuff, I think, is getting behind Hillary. And is there any way, this is really extrapolating, is there any way that this would benefit Hillary, or is there another political figure that would benefit by really this incredibly incompetent CIA report?
Yeah, well, going back to playing politics, and like I said before, it's kind of a division between, once again, Republicans and Democrats, because the Republicans tend to say that this, report is kind of bogus, and where did they get their facts, and they had really no part in putting
Except
this
for
together.
John McCain.
Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of a division there, and then that makes the Republicans look back as, oh, look at them, they're the evil ones that are for this torture and everything like that, and we're not like that. We're just the good folks that just we try to follow the rule of law and everything like that. So it's just it's pitting one against the other like they usually do. Okay.
Nonie, do you have any thoughts about what Morgan had talked about
Absolutely.
why the teardown of all these really the establishment in the United States?
Obama is a revolutionary. He wants to cause a revolution in America. He's doing it against the police, like Morgan said, against the FBI, against the CIA, against this establishment. He wants to inundate the country with third world types. We are getting the poorest of the poor. Instead of picking and choosing, we need doctors, we need engineers, we can get many immigrants that can help the country. But he's on purpose bringing third world country types, the poorest of the poor in Central America, and not the educated classes in Central America, on purpose because he wants dependency on government, and he wants to populate the red states, in my opinion, with third world country types who are used to government handouts to survive, and especially Muslim immigrants as well. And he's populating the red states with them. Texas is getting purple, Tennessee, even Alaska. Alaska is having a hard time electing a Republican. And in 5-6 years, when all these people get citizenship, we might not have any red states anymore.
Well, I wanted to take that thought, Nonie. I want to segue to you, Morgan. This last election was, bellwether. It was fantastic. It was a tidal wave. It crashed right on the California state line. Unfortunately, it didn't continue to the Pacific Ocean, but every other state seemed to have this incredible tsunami of Republican redism. Is this going to sustain, or is what Obama's doing with executive orders, amnesty, the way he's racially dividing the country, class dividing the country, is he going to be able to succeed in 2 years to the point where we're going to be so purple or blue that maybe this is an anomaly? That is he building a majority? Can we recover from these next two? Because he's hell-bent on destroying America in the next 2 years, whether we have the Senate, that's not going to make a difference to him. What's your outlook? Are we going to survive this?
If we don't take advantage, the Republicans don't take advantage of the opportunity that was given to them by the American people, then we're not going to make it. The American people voted these people in to stop Obama. S-T-O-P, stop Obama. That's it. If they do not do it, and if they wimp out like they did, then I believe it could get really, really ugly, because people in this country are very disenchanted. They do not like this. I've been all over the country, and believe me when I tell you, they are armed and ready. They don't like what they're seeing. They don't like the direction of the country, and I don't want to see it get bad. But the whole temperature of this country is right on the edge, and he is pushing it, man. With this immigration thing, he is pushing the envelope.
Absolutely. Well, Mel, do you have faith in the Republican Party?
I want to. They really have to clean up their act, and I hope when the new people come in that they really try to do that, because I don't like what already happened today with what Boehner, his bill that he's trying to pass for tomorrow. It's horrendous. Yeah. They should have, put it, basically pay for the end of the year, wait till the new folks come in.
Yeah.
And then in around February, when they're all in and settled, they have their new caucuses and committees, then start, putting new bills out in smaller portions right to the president's desk. Because now they'll actually get past Harry Reid, because he's no longer an obstacle. And let, Obama either sign it or not, But he'll veto most of the stuff anyway,
Right.
But at least we'll know exactly what he's doing. So, you know what, people really have to stay on their congressmen and senators and really push them and say, you better do what you're elected. Like Morgan said, we voted you in overwhelmingly to do this, to do our will. So you better start doing it.
Well, Nonie, let me go to you, and I'm going to kind of switch over to Ferguson, but more importantly, because we've had a history of racial tension in this country. Obviously, we've had riots. I was, the Rodney King, back to the Watts in '67. That's been a pattern in American history. What we haven't had, though, is a president who gets up there calmly. He's not directly inciting violence, but when he says that we have a history of racism among the police, that's something that other presidents did not. He would not this. He's trying to be. This is very Alinsky, I think. He's being very calm, but he's kind of wink, saying it's okay. The violence is okay. We're excusing it because we have this history of racism. What does this portend for racial? I mean, he was the great unifier, and we're 40, 50 years back now. So what?
He said, stay the course to the people in Ferguson. Stay the course to the rioters. He sent Eric Holder. It's very obvious that Obama, a lot of people think he's the first black president, and Bill Clinton was the first black president. I think Obama is the first Arab president because I'm very familiar with his personality. He really reminds me of Arab dictators who speak from one side of the mouth, say one thing, and the other side of the mouth says something else. The American people are not used to this kind of leadership. I have lived under it for the first half of my life, so I know exactly. He acts so much like Islamic leaders in the way they communicate to the people. They think they're stupid, and they are constantly saying one thing and then saying the other thing, the opposite thing later. So he can always say, oh, I didn't say that to you. Did you hear me the other day? I said something different. So that's exactly Yasser Arafat. All of them are like that. All the Egyptian presidents I live under were like that. But the Muslim leaders have to do that because Sharia law obliges them to do that. But why is Obama doing that inside America? This is what's sad. It's really when I see him destroy. America is built on truth, and any party that uses deceit to accomplish its goal in America is unnecessary. And I don't understand why the Democratic Party is using deceit. And the head deceiver is Obama right now.
So we have an Arab Alinskyite dictator running this. So,
Yeah.
Mel, that's
Yeah.
pretty depressing.
Yeah.
Race relations. I mean, how Nonie's right. I mean, and Morgan, you had talked about this kind of previously. I mean, they just lie. They just lie, and we're all kind of pulling our hair out. So, we just saying, why can't people see it? I mean, I think a lot of Americans do see it, but you have a minority of people that are just they'll follow the lie. And they'll go to the streets, the Occupy movement, the racial riots. They'll follow something that when the truth is obvious here, right? The officer was in the right, and
Yeah.
all the evidence, everything points to that.
Right.
Why, first of all, why are people following the lie? And then what is Obama's strategy for continuing to say, kind of again, wink, wink, go ahead, let's stay the course?
For some reason he wants it. I mean, why is he saying stay the course? I mean, obviously he wants it. He kind of likes it. Why he wants it, I don't know. But it is horrendous. I don't know why some people blindly follow, when they know good and well that the officer, with all the evidence that has come about now in the grand jury, for the Ferguson case I'm talking about, the officer clearly was in his right to do what he did, okay? Some people will just follow no matter what, but there are some that, especially in the African-American community that are speaking out against these followers,
Yes.
in which I applaud them greatly because they get tore down really bad if they speak against their own people. So I think that's kind of a problem too. It's kind of hard for some people to come against and, say anything that goes, or perceived to be against their people.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Morgan, I wanted to ask you, Sheriff Clark of Milwaukee County, who's been on Fox, African American, has been very outspoken against Al Sharpton and all the kind of racial huckstering going on. He's a law and order guy. He's terrific. And I'm thinking, so there are voices out there saying, wait a minute, thuggery is thuggery, right? And the law is the law. And if we're not a nation of laws, then we have complete anarchy and chaos. Right. We're just the dictatorship just fallen into complete anarchy. So maybe there's some hope. I don't know. You're the optimist. Give us some hope in this, because right now it looks like racial, we're back to the 60s, and is it going to take another 50 years to recover what we thought we had in improved racial relations? So give us some hope among the black community that is kind of seeing through the lies.
Well, I think that there are voices out there. Unfortunately, the media is on Obama's side, which we all know. And of course, the media was all over Ferguson. There were more media people out there in the streets than there were protesters in the very beginning. So you know what their angle was, what their agenda was. I think the underlying problem is not being addressed. You're having these people like Al Sharpton and so many of these black community leaders ignoring the real reason that there's a problem in this country. And that's because of the breakdown of the family in the black communities. There's no fathers there. The kids are running wild. The streets are war zones. Kids are getting shot every weekend, and nobody talks about black on black crime. And these Al Sharpton types don't even address that. Barack Obama doesn't address that. So what they're doing is they're trying to create chaos. That's what they want. They want to pit black against white, rich against poor. That's what they want. And, economic inequality. And they think that their constituents are stupid. The Democrats don't get this. They think their women are stupid because all they care about is birth control. That's all they care about. They're stupid. So they look at their own constituents as idiots.
Well, Gruber. I mean, it's the disdain, the elites, the disdain they have for the masses.
Exactly.
Middle America is flyover country, all that. It's appalling. But that's how they believe. I mean, and it was great that he was being honest. I mean, he was apologizing for insulting. He should be apologizing. He lied. They lied to the American people to get that bill passed. We don't want the apology for calling us stupid. How about apologizing for lying and, of course, then taking back Obamacare?
That's right, but I believe that they're underestimating a lot of people in the black community. I believe they are, because there are a lot of black families that want their children to be safe, and they want their children to be well educated, and they don't want to grow up. They don't want to see their kids grow up and become hoodlums and thugs. They don't want it. So I'm optimistic that within their own group, they're going to see this and say, wait a minute, enough is enough. We are not going back to the old days. We're not going to do that. And you talk to leading Republican African Americans, and they get it.
Yeah.
They get it. And they're speaking out. Ben Carson is speaking out. And those voices are being heard. So I do have optimism that it can change. It can turn around because people are getting it. They are. Look at Obama's ratings.
Yeah, I hope so. And Nonie, I want to kind of relate that to the Middle East and kind of Arab dictatorships. You had people were in incredible amounts of poverty, misery, but they would follow the dictator.
Exactly.
Right? It's the same. So
there
is a parallel there.
It's the same dynamic. If you look at how the Arab world treats the Palestinians, who are Arabs, they are sacrificing them for a bigger cause of jihad. The same dynamic in America. The African American leadership does not give a damn about the black youth. What they're doing, they're using them exactly the same way Arab leaders and Islamists are using the Palestinians, sacrificing them for a bigger cause. And unfortunately, there is a lot of African Americans in America now who are getting it, and they're slipping away. But every time they slip away, they throw on them some kind of catastrophe, a pretentious catastrophe that the police is out to get them. They scare the hell out of them in order to use them and keep them under their thumb. It's so obvious, and black votes are starting to wise up. They are starting to wean from African American leadership, but every now and then they have to come up with a boogeyman to scare them into voting Democrat.
Well, you have to hope that it's a very small minority that are in the streets looting, rioting, right? So the vast majority want to go to work, raise their families, right? So
but they have to scare them into keeping voting Democratic, because there is a lot of Republic now moving away from the Democratic Party. African Americans, they're wising up. They know that under the Democrats, under even a black president, they have been deceived. They have been thrown under the bus. So very obvious. I think the Democratic Party is going to start losing the African American vote.
It's funny. You watch Meet the Press and these shows. They're always talking about the civil war within the Republican Party, right? And we have our differences, foreign policy and a number of issues, immigration, huge. You got the open borders for crowd versus. But Mel, I wanted to ask you, because we're the party that hates women. We hate,
Yeah, can't you tell?
Yeah,
We hate women.
Can't you tell?
I was going to say I have 3 incredibly well-spoken, intelligent, and beautiful women on the panel, but I get in trouble for saying beautiful now, right? Because
No,
No,
go
we like
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
We
Say
Republican
it.
women
all right, good.
are
Okay, all
proud
right.
of it.
Because the government, now they got dictates coming down saying it's your intent of thought and words. It's the intent. And the government will know. I mean, this is Animal Farm, right? This is George Orwell.
It really is.
So we hate women, we hate minorities, we hate, we hate all this. But Mel, I mean, Mia Love, Tim Scott, Susanna Martinez, Sandoval. I mean, the list goes on and on. We're Bobby Jindal. We have, American Indians. Indians, right? Nikki Haley. So, and this is in this, Mary Landrieu says, that there's this racism in the South, and they have an Indian, from India governor. So apparently we're not that, we're not that
She
racist.
did well, didn't she?
Yeah, she did real well. Yeah, that really worked. So obviously, I think taking off what Nonie said, there seems to be this movement where, and the Republicans are making inroads in the minority community, among women, obviously, Joni Ernst and on and on. Now, the left will dismiss that, say the blacks are Uncle Toms, the women are, I don't know what they're going to say about, Joni Ernst. Well, they savaged Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann.
Yeah.
But there is some hope here, isn't there, among, that they're among minorities and women, that it's not all.
Absolutely, because that's their thing. They're putting all that prejudice on us, and we're not really like that. We are the inclusive party. They're not,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's the total opposite of what they try to preach. But yeah, even in California, this blue state, we made some nice ins with a couple of local candidates in the Asian community. So we're breaking through there too. We have a lot of good Asian candidates. I feel they share a lot of the same conservative values as we do. So that's great. And yeah, it's ridiculous. Women, there's a ton of women out there that are leaders in the Republican community, either on the local level, and even the Congress and the federal level. But we're out there. There's African American. There's like I said, there's Asian. There's Hispanic, and I've met a lot of them. Mia Love, Susanna Martinez. These are great women.
Yeah.
They're smart. They're strong, and they're the future of the party, I believe.
But Morgan, I'm going to ask you, I want to get into immigration because
No.
this is a huge divide among the Republicans. I mean, you've got, you read and I love the Journal report on Saturday mornings on Fox, and I read the Wall Street Journal. Great writers. They're open borders. I mean, they're unapologetic. Yeah. They're open borders, and I get it in theory. Let the people come in that want to work. But this isn't a perfect world. We end up paying a lot of government assistance that kind of destroys the work ethic. So where do we, the Republic, as conservatives, do we just say close the border, and have, kind of take on more of an anti-immigrant tone, or do we just say let everybody come in? I mean, what's the balance? What is our balance to?
We have to present it in a way that, okay, this is broken right now, and we need to fix it. Once we fix it, we can let people back in. We can do what we do, legally. But we have to fix it first. Until they monitor the border and secure it, it's not going to happen. But the Democrats don't want it to happen because all these people flowing over are Democrat voters in the future, and we all know that. But look, here's the issue. In the African American community, who's taking away their jobs? Who's taking away the legal Hispanics that did it the right way? Who's taking away their jobs? It's all this influx of people that are now going to Tennessee and Alabama, and they're settling all over this country, and they're taking the jobs away from these people. We have children in this country that are living in poverty, but yet we don't help them. We're going to help children from South America first. We're going to give them health care, we're going to give them educations, we're going to give them housing and welfare and everything else they need. But our own American citizens, our veterans, no, put them at the back of the line. This is totally unfair, but there's a reason for it, and the reason is the Democrats don't ever want to be defeated again.
And big business, let's be honest,
Yeah.
likes the label.
Absolutely,
obviously,
they
right?
do. Absolutely, they
Nonie,
do.
do you mirror that position, or do you
Yeah,
have?
absolutely. A naturalized citizen. I immigrated to America legally, and I had my criminal record checked, my health.
Yep.
I was asked if I have a degree. I had a degree. They picked and choose who they want to bring in. No nation, no sovereign nation should be ashamed of stopping illegal immigration at its border. No sovereign nation should apologize for having border control. And for the media and the Democratic Party to put us, the Republicans, on the defensive, to be scared of being called racists and bigots for wanting to shut our border and monitor who's coming in. This is chaos, and it's the Democrats are not doing a service to. They are very short-sighted. Democrats are always short-sighted. Every trap they put for Republicans to fall in, they fall in it.
But
Every law that they created
Yeah.
to entrap Republicans, they fall in it. And because they're very short-sighted, they always act in an emergency and, okay, let's bring in 5 million now so we can get the vote of the of the Latinos. They don't see the consequences on the nation
Well,
in the long run. They could care
That's-
less.
that's right.
They're like an irresponsible, insane, dysfunctional family.
But
And
it's-
they are bringing down America. No nation should ever apologize for wanting to control its borders and pick
Absolutely. Right.
and choose who they can bring in America. People who are going to benefit this country.
That's right.
It is well known in the Arab world. If you want to go to America and you are not going to be welcome because you have some terrorist ties, go to Mexico and come.
right. Well, no, do you,
That way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Everywhere in the Muslim world now, they know that.
yeah. Well, no,
So-
you hit on something.
They
that-
all know it. They know.
Yeah.
Come to America
Yeah.
through Mexico.
Through Mexico.
Actually,
Yeah.
there was an Arab professor who was on Al Jazeera advocating, go take a little box of anthrax and go to Mexico and cross the border. You won't search you, and you can go and sprinkle it in D.C.
Well, Nonie, we only have a couple minutes left, but I think you hit on something.
Yeah.
First of all, if you're for law and order, law enforcement, you're a racist now. If you believe in the rule of law nationally, when it comes to sovereignty, you're a racist, you're anti-immigrant. So the left hits these buttons, and we're so afraid. Maybe not the four of us, but conservatives, Republicans are so afraid. Americans are so afraid of being called Islamophobic, racist, anti-women, all of these things that our reflex is always defensive.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Mel, you're going to tell us in the final couple minutes. I mean, how do we? You got to break through this PC. I mean, the political correctness. Is it just look? We just have to speak the truth, and people will hopefully see the truth and follow. Is it that simple?
Yes, it is. Okay. That's simply what we have to do. You can't hide anymore and be so afraid of your own shadow. Like every time you say something, the wrong word or whatever, oh, you're a racist or whatever. Yeah, we have to knock it off. It's.
Get
over
it.
I know it's common sense for a lot of this stuff, like the open borders. Come on, we can't take in the whole world for God's sakes.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
We just can't do it. So yeah, we have to stop being politically correct and just say it like it is. People will understand it. They get it already. It's our politicians that aren't quite getting it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to, in the final couple minutes of it, going back to your great column today, Morgan, about
yes.
who will lead America back to optimism. I want to get the three of you, all of you, each of you, I want to get your thoughts on who is going to be, you wrote the article, maybe you have somebody in mind. Do you have someone who's going to be coming, or or if you didn't have a name, is it someone who's obvious, like Jeb Bush, Scott Walker, someone like that? Or, well, I'm just throwing names out. Or do you think that, I guess B would be someone that is not on the radar? Like our Barack Obama, in a sense, someone who's in the background that no one is thinking, because nobody thought of Obama a couple of years before. Is there someone maybe coming out that we're not even focused on?
There's got to be. There has to be somebody coming up. There's a lot of bright people out there. And maybe they haven't been heard yet. Maybe they haven't been, found yet. But I believe it. I love Scott Walker. Yeah. I really do. And I think if people get behind him, that man, he does everything in a way that is quiet, and he does it, and he doesn't make a big deal about it. He gets it done. And to me, that's what we need. And we need somebody to unite us, and to give us a light to look forward to. I think there's somebody there.
I hope so.
I do. I think there is.
Yeah, I tend to like the governors as well, not Jeb Bush. But I do like Scott Walker a lot, and I met him and I've heard him speak, and he is good. I just want to get him to get a little bit tougher. That's just an acting note. He could be taught that, but he is truly tough because he's taken on the unions. We know what he's gone through hell over there, and where he's from, from the Illinois folks too, crossing over trying to antagonize him. But I like someone like him. I like the Jindals out there. I mean, there's good people out there, and I think we'll be okay.
Okay, Nonie, I'm going to have a two-part. I want you to give me your person, and then quickly, and then go on to a different question. Is there a single entity or person, country in the world that we need to fear most? ISIS, Iran, Putin, China. Is there one that stands out that you say we've really? I mean, there's a lot of scary actors. But first, do you have a favorite among the Republicans?
Yeah, I would like a governor. We have so many good men and women in the Republican Party. Frankly, we have so much better candidates than the Democrats. Who do the Democrats have? Nobody. Frankly, they're embarrassing. The Democrats are all embarrassing. We have so many people to be proud of. The only problem we have is the media makes fun of them and ridicule them. They use shaming, which is an Arab trait, which is very, very third world country kind of way of defeating people, was to shame them.
That's right.
And that's what our media is doing. Regarding who should we be afraid of, the nations, of course, Iran is very well known, but I would say many Islamic countries, and of course Russia is using it, China, North Korea, and frankly Turkey now. Turkey is I don't understand why it's still part of European what is it?
NATO.
NATO. It's part of NATO. It's a danger to be part of NATO and to be allied with the the Union of NATO. Right now, Turkey is playing a very bad game against Egypt and against
cozying up to Putin. No.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I asked for one, and you named many, so we have a very scary world. That's the bottom line, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, I'm going to ask people again in the final minute. Again, What Women Really Want by Anne-Marie Morel, Morgan Brittany, and Dr. Gina Loudon. Please buy this book for Christmas. Nonie's books as well. And I think we settled on President Walker, because that seemed to be, he was mentioned more than anyone else.
There's always Jamie Glazov, too. President Glazov.
Who's that?
That guy that
we got to see if he's going to come back to the show.
Sits here, sometimes.
Oh, him.
Him.
Yes.
That guy.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if he gets back to the show first.
Well,
before
maybe
president.
so. Yeah.
But,
hey, listen. We need to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and
Merry
a Happy
Christmas,
Hanukkah.
Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. That's right.
That's
right. Thank you for watching the Glazov Gang, and we'll be back next week.